All right, welcome back, Nedheads. This is the 8th episode of the Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide podcast. As always, this is Kirk.
And I'm Jacob. And today we watched the school elections and talent show episode.
I think it was a good episode. I think it was an improvement over the last, couple of minisodes.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. We're getting into the swing of Ned really here, I think.
Yeah, you think they've finally... Well, no, I mean, I think they've had their groove going the whole time, honestly.
The tone is well established.
Definitely.
From Ep 1, no doubt.
For sure.
Yeah. Which you got to give them a lot of credit for that, because I feel like, especially referring to another part, the Drake and Josh show, I think it took them a little while to get into the swing on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that took them a full 2 seasons. It wasn't until really season 3 when stuff was consistently, super good.
Yeah. So, But anyway, we do, I guess we'll address real quick. Of course, we're both self-quarantining.
Yep.
That's just what's happening right now. I'm sure you guys, if you're listening to this in the beginning of 2020, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, COVID is in full swing. Everybody is quarantined. I've pretty much been here for a few days now.
Yeah, I'm working from home.
Nice.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we're recording remotely. Kirk is, as we always do, honestly. Nothing has changed. So the first episode of this half was the talent show episode.
Exactly. And this is actually, this is Mr. Wright gets an A episode this time. We've addressed this before. It seems like he was getting B, the second half of the minisode pretty consistently up until this one.
That's true. And he starts right in the beginning, as he always does. But this time they're outside and he's walking with the crew for some reason. He's walking and talking.
They must have a courtyard or something.
Yeah, they have that. Well, actually, it must not be the front because the exterior front shots do not show any benches or anything. So it's some sort of other courtyard. You're right. Yeah, I don't know where they're at.
It's if you're out up front of the school, it's you've left the school, basically.
Pretty much. But Mr. Wright is really pumped for his new talent show. He does it every year, and everybody hates it every single year.
He's very restrictive on what he allows in the talent show. He only allows classical music.
Yep.
And, tap dancing, but bland tap dancing.
Yeah, only the classical arts, for whatever reason.
Right.
And Mose hates her tap routine. He calls her out straight away. He's like, yours is always the GOAT.
She loves it. I mean, yeah, they show a flashback, I guess, from when she was in 6th grade doing the routine. She doesn't look like she's enjoying it.
Absolutely not. And the squirrely kid, what's his name? Martin Quirley. He always does a cello routine, but this year he wants to switch it up and do some sort of hip hop version of a cello. I don't know.
Well, really,
not 100% sure.
Really, it's drum and bass is the music that he's playing. It's fast drum and bass, and he's supposed to play cello. But now, initially, he pulls out his ghetto blaster, and Mr. Wright shuts him down right away, and we don't get to see him play.
Yeah, he did.
We'll
come
back to that later, because he does end up performing.
And Coconut Head shows up with a bubble wrap suit that he's wearing, like a jumpsuit.
It's very impressive.
And Lisa just starts burping the ABCs, which we can only imagine that is her saying, I want to do this for the talent show.
Yeah, and he shuts both of them down. He says that the talent show is not ready for you guys. You guys are talentless, just hacks. And they do say that the school, they call it JKPMS.
They do, yeah.
So that's what they call the school.
They also end up just hanging out in the lunchroom in the next scene, and they're just they're sitting up on the table, aren't they? Not on the benches, but they're up higher.
That's very possible. I don't necessarily remember that specifically. I
just
remember
that's what it looked like.
Yeah, they were talking about how there's talent everywhere. There's carnies in the school apparently. There's people riding unicycles. There's people juggling. There's people, doing all kind of weird little things that are, you can call them talents if you want to. But yeah, they're like, man, this is horseshit. And apparently the talent show is mandatory to attend, which I feel like is not the way talent shows work usually, right?
No, usually I would think that they were like an after hours event.
Exactly, right.
You know,
like it's 7 p.m. You know,
yeah, you
have to
roll
come
up
back.
with ma and pa.
Yeah, exactly. Your parents are there. Everyone's there. Nope, this one's at 1 o'clock p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah.
So that's the universe they've built, at least.
Yeah. Did we talk about the circus students that are in the cafeteria?
Yeah, the carnies, right. There's people juggling. There's people riding unicycles, and they're like, wait, why aren't we showcasing all of this mad talent that's oozing out of the school? Just because Mr. Wright is like some sort of fascist or whatever.
Yeah, he really doesn't want any change. He's like so set in his ways, which is unfortunate.
I mean, you know, I guess on one level, you know, you got to respect a man like that knows what he wants, but like, come on, you can't limit people's expression that much and then expect them to like have a good time. He's like always surprised. He's always like, why is nobody like this? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't understand that aspect of it. Like, he should for sure be able to tell that everybody's just having a bad time and that they're just there because like they have to be. Like, it's literally a mandatory thing. He makes it mandatory.
Right. And I don't remember how it gets, like, Ned ends up one-on-one talking to Mr. Monroe about this. Does he go to him specifically to talk about this for, like, or is he looking for advice?
Yeah, they're, like, trying to find a room to do this in. And they're like, you could ask teachers. And they immediately go to him. And he, like, on the DL lets him use his room. He, like, drops his keys and he's like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
Wouldn't it be crazy if I like just forgot these keys here and then maybe someone found them and then got into the room? And wouldn't it be crazy if you like asked Gordy to build a stage and move all these desks out of this room?
Yeah,
you didn't hear from me.
And then he runs out of the room, and Ned has he got his venue.
Mr. Monroe is a self-proclaimed supporter of the arts, especially subversive arts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so then they start going through different talents that are like bizarre talents.
Everybody has a talent, he says.
One of them is the nut crunch, where like Billy is smashing nuts with his head.
Yeah, they'll put like is it a walnut? Like a full walnut?
I think it was. Yeah, it was.
Like a nut that you don't see any other time of the year except for around Christmas time.
And also, wouldn't that be a chestnut?
Those two, but it wasn't a chestnut. Those look different.
That's chestnuts are the Christmas nut, though, aren't they?
The
chestnuts roasting on a fire.
That's the most Isn't Christmas nut. But there's like a set of mixed Christmas nuts. I feel like that's the time of year that you see nuts because people have nutcrackers out, right?
That's true. The nuts that we always had at the holidays time were pecans, though.
Okay. Maybe that's a Florida thing.
I think it was for some reason, like, my grandma would, like, show up with, like, a huge bag of pecans, and that's what we would use to make, like, we'd put them in all the cookies and stuff that we made.
You'd make pecan sandies?
We didn't make any pecan sandies, no, but my mom I was on duty of, like, crushing them up, so, like, we had this dope grinder that I would use, and, like,
you didn't use your forehead?
Nuts. I didn't use my forehead, no. But she would put them in nuts, or she would put them in cookies, like, just cookies that, like, normal ones, like chocolate chip cookies. We'd toss some fucking nuts in them.
Yeah.
Really making them a hazard for people that couldn't eat nuts.
Just ruining the cookies, really.
No. They're good stuff. They're really really finely chopped. So, honestly, it just added texture.
Almost a nut flour.
I don't know about that finally. But
one of the other kids, yeah.
But actually, I do want to say that they called the Nut Crunch one the useful talent.
Right, exactly, because these guys were hungry for nuts. They had a bunch of nuts in a shell, and they were wanting to eat them.
You could crack that bitch any other way.
With what? You say you could crack that bitch with a textbook on the desk?
I think you could.
Right, that's probably the best option, like given the tools that they had at their disposal.
Yeah, and then they had the one, actually in the between this, I didn't write it down, but Lisa comes back up with her alphabet burping, and then they show the one bite guy.
That was the entertaining talent.
The one bite?
No, Lisa.
Oh, hers was not entertaining. That shit's gross.
No. Yeah, exactly. It's gross. But go on.
Oh, the one bite guy,
he's-
he like eats an entire like deli sub in one bite. He just like pushes it down his throat.
Yeah, and he's wearing, I mean, a dope ring. I don't know if you call it a class ring or like some sort of a signet ring.
Yeah, I don't think it was a class ring because it looked too thin. It didn't look bulky enough.
What finger was it on?
I think it was on his ring finger. It was gold.
It was gold.
It was pretty
but
sweet.
Yeah, I don't remember how they described his talent.
I don't either. They just kind of talk about him and they show him, and it's really insane to watch. And he actually is in the crowd later in the talent show as well.
Yeah.
But then
the way
Cook
they
starts
edit it, it's like
advertising.
he eats one piece of it, and then it cuts away to people being like, "Oh my god!" And then further, like
Yeah,
you don't see it all in one take.
No, they couldn't do that.
Unfortunately,
they didn't have the budget for that shit.
Yeah. Then we see Mose. She goes over to Chop Sauce. She's like, I hate this freedom. I don't know what to do. I can't think of a talent.
Isn't Cook's thing before that?
Oh, with the which Cook thing?
When he's advertising?
Oh, I think you're right. I didn't take any notes on that. You can go over that real quick.
Oh, so Cook, he's just like advertising for the talent show in the hallway, and he has got like a sign on his back, and he's talking about how cool this talent show is, and it's at the exact same time as Monroe's. And then Monroe like catches him in the hallway, and they do like this crazy thing where like they're like running after each other like cartoon style. There's like a graphic for it.
That's right. Yeah.
And then the sign ends up on the back of Mr. Wright's back instead.
Yeah, he dupes him. He Bugs Bunnies him.
Yeah, he cartoons his ass. So Cook gets away scot-free, and Mr. Wright doesn't know about it.
Yeah, he's none the wiser.
And then the Chop Saw bit.
Right. And we noticed that Chop Saw has very inconsistently, occasionally wooden appendages.
Yeah, so this episode and the next one coming up are the first times I really looked and realized, but his hand is definitely not wooden. He's using both hands very fluidly like you would a real hand. He's bending both of them. And in, what is it, the original episode? I think it's the pilot. They show him having a like fake wooden hand.
Right. Yeah. So I guess they didn't want to commit to that bit.
They should have. I don't know why they wouldn't.
I don't either. But basically we find out that, Chop Saw goes like to Mose. She's like, convinces her that she's talented at woodworking. Basically, I think he affirms that in her head. And
yeah,
he
he's always been blown away by her shit.
Oh, she's his favorite for sure.
Yeah.
I think after that we go to back to Mr. Monroe's room, which has been completely renovated by Gordy. Gordy's built this incredible stage with lights and a frickin' curtain and everything. He's put stadium seating or whatever in there.
Yes, it's very dope.
Yeah, he pulled out all the stops. But no one showed up. It's 1 p.m. Ned and Cook are in there. They're like, where is everybody? Because they held it at the same time as Mr. Wright's official talent show. Ballsy move.
They were hoping people would skip the real one, but everybody is seemingly too afraid to do it.
Well, that's what makes it so subversive.
Yeah, so then Cook goes on a recon mission to Mr. Wright's talent show and starts basically spreading false rumors that this is the shit talent show and they are hosting the dopest one, which he only went there to just see what the crowd was like.
Well, I mean, everyone was there because they had to be there. And they weren't false rumors. I mean,
Well, the false rumor part of it was that his show was the dopest one. No one was actually there.
That's true. He was fudging the truth there a little bit.
And they like keep cutting back to him, and he just keeps scooting down the stadium seating and just keeps whispering to people, "Pretty lame talent show."
He's convincing people to go though, and so are the acts already like backstage at the Ned Talent Palooza?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I didn't see any of the people that end up performing on stage in the audience of the other talent show, so it's definitely possible they were just like queued up and ready to go.
they're just waiting for an audience to go on for, because otherwise, like, people are showing up over there. They're like, wait, there's nothing going on over here.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's these clarinet playing twins.
Yeah, I don't know who they are. They've never showed them before.
They're at the Mr. Right talent show. They are playing clarinet for so long.
Yes, the entire time.
The entire Coconut Head goes on. He does his bubble rap.
Backpack Boy
dance.
goes on.
Zemo goes on. Burps the whole alphabet, all 24 letters, I assume. Backpack Boy and Clara Lawyer. So what happens with their act is Backpack Boy comes out wearing an awful suit with 3 buttons buttoned all the way up. Doesn't fit him well.
All 3 of them.
We know how small he is. It's impossible to get a suit to fit him good, but
you couldn't get a suit tailored, man. He couldn't do it.
He's got a boutonniere, little flower.
He's fancy as fuck.
So he takes the backpack off, unzips it. Claire Sawyer,
future lawyer.
Claire Sawyer, future lawyer, gets in the backpack. He zips it up. He fucking he spins around like 3 times, and he just chucks the thing into the back corner of the room. And everybody just applauds. That was his talent. He whips her across the room, and she's in it until the end of the episode.
How is that a talent?
I mean, it's a feat of strength. That's for sure.
It's definitely a feat of strength.
She's got to weigh at least as much as he does.
Yeah, I think more, probably. He was thin. He was the smallest man on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But, like, so... so then all those acts go on. The clarinet girls finally finish up. By this point, Cookie has gotten everyone out of the other talent show over to the Talent Palooza, and he scoots over next to Mr. Right. He doesn't realize he's next to Mr. Right how. I don't know how he doesn't know that.
I don't know.
But he's like, lame talent show, right? And then Mr. Right's like, what did you say?
Yeah, he's pissed.
Yeah, and Cookie's like, and he runs away.
Yeah. He was in the middle of freaking slow clapping for the clarinet twins.
And he continues to clap for them, like he doesn't want to be rude. And he
No.
He genuinely enjoyed it. Like
he did.
Yeah, and you can't fault him for that.
No, not at all. But at that point is when Mose goes up and does her dope woodworking skill, and everybody's laughing. People are fucking loving it. I don't know why it's so funny, but everybody's just cracking up.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say? Wood dust? No, sawdust. Sawdust is flying everywhere. She makes a coat rack.
Yeah, and she ends up hanging her woodworking coat on it, basically.
Mm-hmm. It's very intricate. It's very ornate. It's got a lot of, bevels and things. And
yeah, the pole, like the whole base of it is like twisting, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's swirly. And the crowd goes wild, right? So.
Yes. And at this point, Mr. Right is in the room watching everybody. He's like, he starts off pissed, but he's starting to warm up. And that's when Ned starts to introduce Martin Quirley to do his cello solo thing.
Right. This is right as Mr. Right is like, Ned, come over here. We
come
have to
see
have a
me,
word
bitch.
with you. And Ned real quick is like, it's Quirley with his what is he? Funky fiddle, I think is what he says.
Yeah.
And then the drum and bass, that stuff starts going. And
it's not good.
Well, it sounds all right, but like when you look at the way Quirley is miming the cello, he's not trying at all.
It's fucking embarrassing. I don't know how.
Because you see him the entire time Ned and Mr. Right are having a conversation in the back of the room. You see Quirley on stage in the background, and his hands just are not moving.
Maybe he thought he wasn't in frame.
Right ways. Maybe he didn't know what the music sounded like was supposed to sound like.
You don't think they were playing anything for him? Probably not.
Maybe they were playing something completely different from what they ended up going with.
It's definitely possible.
Giving him the benefit of the doubt, of course. With all the speculation.
Yeah, and then Mr. Right is basically like on board. He's like, yeah, Ned, I get that you did like a talent show against my shit, but maybe I'll look into these guys next time. Everybody seems like they're having fun.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Yeah, I don't know what is he going to make amendments to the way that he schedules the regular talent show, maybe?
I guess so. Like, do they have in the future? Do they call back to the talent shows and show it again with this updated formula, or no?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I know that they do a play, like a school play at one point.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's all for sure that I know. But the last tip of the episode is find your talent and go for it.
Hell yeah. Good advice.
Everyone has a talent.
That's what they say. But so what would you rate this out of 10 ferrets?
Weasels.
It's a fucking ferret.
It's a weasel. So, like, episode 7A, I gave a 7.5. Episode 7P, I gave a 6.75. So, I'm going to give this a 7.8. All right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I'm going to give this one a 6.5.
Okay. I'm consistently rating higher than you.
You are, yeah. You are rating higher than me. I'm going 6.5, though. I'm sticking to it.
All right. Well, do you remember what you gave the last one?
Nope.
Okay. And then we go right into, like standard fare. We go right into Ep 2, Minisode 2, Episode 8B, Elections.
Yeah, school elections, where they start describing basically the different roles that you can run for. So the first one is treasurer, and Zemo is the basically person that is running for treasurer this episode. And they talk about how that role handled funds, and it's also easy to win because no one goes for it.
That's what they think.
That's what they think. Honestly, I don't remember school elections that much. I don't remember putting a lot of heart into it, like with my voting.
I don't know if I
did
voted.
Vote. I don't know if I did either.
I think I always was like, this is a sham.
It meant nothing to me, and they did nothing.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. I think that all that shit is that's fake shit.
It wasn't the world we were living in.
No, absolutely not. Especially not in high school. We could have cared less what everybody else was doing.
Yeah, but the next class officer position is a VP, and apparently they are the communicator. Basically, they talk to they relay messages about what's going on.
Yeah, I feel like they're the real power is what they are like airing to in this.
That's what it seems like. I mean, but like at the same time, I don't know. I guess they just communicate. They're like a middleman of what the president decides to the student body.
I would say in real life, at least in real politics, the VP does shit all.
Yeah.
You know?
They take the B-side tasks like that need to be done in the course of a day.
And then the main one that they talk about is the class president, which is what the episode's really about.
Obviously.
And they're the ones who apparently plan social events and make some sort of actual change, I guess. I don't know.
They make motions to improve the school. So, like, they could decide to build a new wing or to...
No fucking way, man.
That's what they say.
That shit's crazy.
And I think that, so the guy Doug, who we've seen before, he's the guy that you only ever see surrounded by
women.
By women. Yeah. I don't know. Do they address why he's so beloved? He's even more popular than Seth Powers, dude.
I'm not 100% sure. I assume it's just because he's an attractive man. But they don't ever explain the situation that goes on with Doug. Bad name.
He's an attractive
kind of a strange name.
Grader. Yeah, he looks like Doug Funny. He's blue.
Doug Funny wasn't blue. His friend was blue.
That's right. Doug Funny was pale white.
Yeah, Doug Funny was the whitest kid you've ever seen. He wore a sweater vest with a short sleeve shirt at all times.
Skeeter was blue.
Yeah, Skeeter.
Yeah, sweater vest with a short sleeve white shirt. With a white tee.
It's an awful look.
It's a bizarre look.
That would be a good Halloween costume, though, if you went as Doug and Skeeter.
It would be. You'd have to wear like a bald cap with like strings for the hair or something, though.
That'd be really good, though. Yeah, you wear like a really big prosthetic nose.
And then you get your friend to dye their skin blue and be Skeeter.
Can you imagine that? A huge
That'd be incredible.
Nose.
You'd get on the front page of Reddit, no questions asked.
That's true. Yeah, so Ned gets nominated by the huge crew.
Yeah.
And
they have shirts that say NED, but when we first see them, they're in position END, so it looks like they say end.
Yeah, which is very them. That's on brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the other people that he's running against is Susie Crabgrass, who ran, and I think they said won last year with her pencil bribing. And the other person is the Weasel. Not a person, but the other one is the Weasel, and then Doug. So,
yep. Yeah, Susie hands out pencils. She's like, I'm the sharpest one, or whatever she says.
yeah, trash.
And she also gives out candy.
Yeah, they said going into the scene when they're in the lunchroom talking about where Ned is like, I don't want to freaking run. Lisa is talking about how last year Susie spent all their cash on those neon wolves, and they you can see them in the background of the cafeteria, these dope neon wolves.
They are crazy. It's like a big moon, a big yellow moon with like a purple wolf howling in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a piece that if they found that on American Pickers, they'd be like, I need to have this.
Oh, they would buy it straight away. Speaking of, you've been watching a lot of American Pickers.
Yeah, so I'm working from home. So I have my work laptop. I have my TV, my 65-inch TV that's mounted up on the wall as a secondary monitor.
Nice.
And then I have my little laptop, my personal laptop off to the side, which was playing American Pickers all day today. All week I was just listening to podcasts and stuff on my phone, but today I was like, why don't I just take this laptop over here and just play videos on this? Because my work is very repetitive and doesn't take a lot of brain power for the most part, so I can just have something going on. And American Pickers is the perfect show to just have playing in the background while you do any task.
You know what I recommend the people to do if they're also at home, though, is to catch up on the Harbor Boys episodes that you guys have missed.
Yeah, I did listen to the beginning up until when you gave the spoiler alert of Parasite. And right before we started recording this, I started listening to the Dave one because I feel like spoilers will not matter for that.
The spoilers don't matter at all in the Dave one. The Dave one was pretty funny. I reckon. Yeah,
it's a good movie.
Not gonna. What?
Was it a good movie?
No, it wasn't a good movie.
Trevor likes it though, right?
Trevor loves it. It was fine. It was a movie that you could watch on TV.
Sounds like it's got a star-studded cast.
It does. It had an excellent cast. Yeah, guys, go check out the new show on the Harbor Boys, Show Me Something.
Maybe someday I'll be on it.
For sure will be, my dude. We just got to plan the right day and time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Back to this episode.
Yes.
We get Cookie. Cookie has printer pants.
Yes, he does. He's got some dope printer pants, which, have they shown those before?
I don't believe that. I think this is the first time we've seen this gadget.
Because they do come back up, no?
I'm sure they do, but he does wreck them this episode.
He does.
But he's got stats. He's got play-by-play, stats of the election ongoing. So
yeah, he's essentially Ned's campaign manager, right?
I would say that that's accurate. But he's really he's his insider. He's got stats that no one else has. I don't know how he gets them.
Yeah, I don't know either. Is he doing any sort of polling? Is he calling people? Is he what's going on? Where's he getting these numbers from?
Is he reading people's minds? Yeah, I don't know, because there's no delegates or anything in the school election. It's but somehow he figures out how people are polling. So right, I don't know. Is he issuing official polls?
I don't know. I don't know where he gets his stats from.
Because short of reading people's minds, I don't know how he's obtaining this information.
Maybe he's got some sort of insider knowledge.
I mean, clearly he has insider knowledge.
But yeah, then we see the huge crew who have got Ned posters that say "Vote Ned or you're dead."
Well, before this, we get the printed out stats, and we find out. I don't remember what the other statistics were, where they fell in line, but 25% of the vote is going to the Weasel. All right.
Wasn't Ned originally tied for third with the Weasel?
I think he was. He was tied at the Weasel, and Susie was in first. I guess they're the only ones running.
Doug. Doug, I think, was second. I think it was Susie, Doug, and then Ned and Weasel tied.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that sounds right. And that's right. That's when we see the Huge Q's election campaign.
Yeah, vote Ned or you're dead, which is
slogan.
pretty good. I like it. And they show them shaking a kid upside down, screaming at him to vote.
Yeah, they're like the mafia,
Shake them down.
Right. Ned is ranting about how the president, this run for school president, is a popularity contest.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but he also realizes the only way to get DQ'd from being ran for president is to get like reprimanded officially by school, right? So he's like, I got to get in trouble big time. First thing he tries to do, deface lockers. Now, what he doesn't know is he got the spray paint from Gordy. This spray paint is the exact color spray paint that the lockers are.
Yes.
So someone's already sprayed black spray paint. They sprayed like a heart or some shit. I don't remember what it was exactly on the locker.
Yeah, it was like a heart and initials. It was like initials plus other initials.
In one coat of paint, he covers this black spray paint with green. No way. No freaking way.
It was pretty faded. It wasn't very good spray paint that was on there to begin with.
I guess, but I mean, black, it's hard to cover that up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it would have shown through once the paint set, we don't know.
Maybe, I guess. But so everyone, I think Mr. Monroe is like, look at that, he's helping repair the color of the lockers and everything. And then Backpack Boy's like, I'll vote for Ned. He's got a dope chain.
And Backpack Kid has the like shit that shoots out of his backpack. It's like flags and like a vote for Ned sign.
Yeah, confetti, a vote for Ned sign.
It's really dope.
Official campaign paraphernalia.
I don't know where he got it from or how he had it ready, but I feel like his vote was already decided.
That has to be made in advance by some sort of company. You have to have that shit ordered.
For sure. And then the next part is where Ned is still trying to figure out how the fuck he's going to get in trouble, and he goes to the gym, and because Gordy's like, I've got an idea for you, and he's got like a dodgeball. So Ned launches...
Wait, hold on. He's not in gym class? He infiltrates an already going on gym class? And
That's what it seemed like. That's what it seemed like, because Gordy just like raises the dodgeball, and he's like, I've got you, my dude. And Ned
They weren't even playing dodgeball? He just shows up with one?
I think the other people were.
Do they play that anymore?
In real life?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I played dodgeball, but it wasn't with the like red kickballs. It was with like foam balls.
Yeah, the red rubber kickballs are fucking hardcore.
Yeah, that shit would fucking knock your teeth out like it does in this scene.
Yeah, he chucks one, he just throws it at Durga's face, and she goes down. But she comes right back up. She's tough, And
immediately endorses him.
That's what I'm talking about. Everybody be more like Ned. She wants aggressive. She wants aggressive children being just hard.
Yeah, it's really weird in this scenario, like the endorsements that happen. I don't remember that ever. Does that happen in real life? Like people like endorsing other people?
Staff and faculty, no less, endorsing a child.
Yes.
For the school election. I thought that you would think that they'd have to be impartial, right?
You would think, because
that's where you're coming from.
They really just have nothing to do with the elections.
Right.
Yes. And then the next scene, Ned invents recycling.
He's trying to start a food fight because he's like, okay, one surefire way to what is the most classic way to stir shit in a middle school environment to affect more like the most people at a clip. You're in the cafeteria, it's lunchtime, you're starting a food fight, right?
Yes. Although I'd never been a part of one.
No, but reference what's the freaking movie that we watch? Max Keeble's Big Movie.
Max Keeble's, yeah. Great movie.
There's a famous food fight in that movie. Okay?
That is great.
And but yeah, so he tries to throw it at someone, but he misses. He just ends up throwing like I guess probably an empty bottle of milk or something in the recycling bin, and Seth Powers gives him props.
Yeah, he's like, man, you just made recycling fun, my dude.
You invented a new and unique way to recycle. Everybody, be like Ned. And then everybody's throwing stuff from across the room into the recycling bin. Good shots. Kobe.
Yeah. And after every single one of these things, everybody just starts chanting Ned. Like after every single one of these activities where he's trying to stir shit.
Exactly. Everything misfires just classically.
And they find out, I don't remember how this comes up, but they talk about how Chop Saw was the only person who won by just talking about the issues.
Yeah, Dusty Chopsaw, who apparently now works at the same middle school that he went to.
I've seen that before. I knew someone in middle school, and then I recently saw on LinkedIn she now works there as faculty.
That's heavy. But she's like recently started working there?
No, a few years ago.
But she's young.
Yes.
They're not like it's not like they went to Desert Storm and then they came back and started working at the same.
Do you think Chopstar went through some shit?
We established it. The Birdhouse of '92 or whatever it was.
That's true. That's very true. Although all that stuff seems fake now, I think he's honestly...
It's not canon. It's not canonical.
He's been faking all his shit, man. He's got real hands.
Every episode to Ned's Declassified is like a new James Bond movie. It like doesn't have anything to do with the last one.
I mean, until the overarching storylines come up, yes.
It makes sense to me. But we find out that he bought a bandsaw with the washing, with the car wash money.
Yeah.
The same car wash money that Susie Crabgrass bought the Neon Wolves with.
Yes, and this is where they start. Chopsaw tries to tell Ned, he's trying to like encourage him to run. He's like, you got to be like a weed whacker at whatever RPMs, and they start screaming "ree" at him.
Ree! Yeah, I don't quite get the metaphor.
I don't know. I don't 100% get it either, honestly.
But they start screaming "ree" at him. So that becomes his new campaign slogan, I guess.
Yeah, and this is where we find out that Susie is handing out Ned as a loser candies.
Yeah, for custom candy bars.
And he screams "ree" right back at her.
First, he he does that, and then he accepts. She's like, want a candy bar? And he's like, oh, sure. And he's like, duh. He literally says, duh. It's subtitled D''OH, just like Homer Simpson says.
Nice.
So, he's like, I'm not taking your candy bar, you slut. Yeah. And so we get a couple tips after that, I think, right after that.
Yes, the tips are you should have posters.
Posters are important.
Hand out flyers, and make sure to keep your speeches short and simple.
Right. And we do find out when he talks about the flyers, his main initiative that he's running on, fresh air for lunch.
Yes.
Lunch
he wants to be able to go back outside. I guess they took
outside.
away that freedom.
Not everybody had a nice, dope, open-air high school like we did, where you can de facto be outside for lunch.
I ate every single lunch outside.
I didn't go inside once for lunch. I never even bought lunch in high school.
I bought lunch, but I would immediately exit the cafeteria ASAP.
Now, I will say, in middle school, I think that we used to be able to go outside, and then we got that taken away from us. That was one of the collective punishments, because I went to kind of a bad middle school.
I mean, that also happened to us in middle school, but I was never there when it was legal to go outside. So that was taken away before I got there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
the whole time I was there, I was stuck up.
That wasn't like this class is being punished. That is like we are systematically changing the way we do lunch here permanently.
Yes. Yeah, they did permanently.
That's pretty
It was
intense.
fucked. And then shortly after, when I was there, that was when they did the alphabetical seating, and that shit was also fucked.
See, we did this seating where
fucking
you had to
let
sit
us have freedom
with the last class before lunch.
Middle school's a fucking weird time, man, where they're telling kids where they can sit by and shit.
They're trying to get you to either fall in line so that you join the army, or to like just become a punk and just hate everything about authority. You know, that's what you go two routes. There's two forks in the road. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Susie is the bribe queen.
Yes.
Basically, she's just trying to give people stuff. She's trying to give them T-shirts. Is what
she does say that she's gonna apologize to Ned the next day, though, which is nice.
That's what she says to Ned.
Yeah.
Maybe she won't. Maybe she will. Who knows?
Doesn't seem like she will, not after losing. Well, spoiler alert, she fucking loses. So.
Well, we already know that she's not well. Right?
What do you mean?
I mean, the way she was dealing with Seth Powers at the dance.
That's true. That is very true.
That's
Call back
crazy
to,
behavior.
to that episode. Trevor was on that episode.
Yeah. He's got to come on another one sometime, but
very true.
I mean, yeah, she's very, not rational in the way that she does certain things.
Unstable at times.
At times, yeah.
But yeah, everybody gets to have their speeches, like you were saying. Susie shoots out the T-shirts for people, and Doug basically just like rolls up on stage, says, "Vote for me, dude." You only
surrounded by his entourage.
You only see his freaking thumb. And then the weasel comes up and just like makes some weasel noises and pops away. And then Ned goes on and like has some like note cards and is like talking about the real issues, talking about lunch outside again.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like JFK. I'm surprised that the weasel makes an appearance and is recognized as because Gordy's always trying to catch the weasel.
Gordy wasn't there. They don't show Gordy after he hands the dodgeball off.
Is he the only one that thinks the weasel shouldn't be around?
I think so. I mean, he's like the unofficial mascot of this school, and Gordy's the only one that hates that fact.
Yeah, the official mascot is the wolf, of course.
Yeah, go Wolves.
Wolves and weasels.
Yeah, I mean, those are almost the same, right?
They're both predators. Carnivores.
But this is where they try to... first, actually, it shows Cookie giving the stats of the election, seeing where everybody's polling at, and it seems that only one person is undecided.
There's
and
a four-way
they figure
tie.
out that is frickin' Coconut Head.
He's the deciding vote. So first I think is Susie comes up at him, right? And she launches T-shirt guns, like, multiple at him, and that's what initially fricks him. Like, he just gets messed up, man.
It destroys him.
He gets a busted, like, fat lip. He gets a black eye. He's got a sling. He's got his arm in a sling.
He's got a wrap around his head like he was concussed or something.
That's right, yeah. Because, well, he hits... I mean, they knock him over, and he hits the tile floor.
Hard.
There's concrete under that tile, for sure.
There is.
And then after that, Doug comes over.
Doug
they
comes
trample
in,
him. Doug and like 15 chicks that are completely surrounding him to where you can't see him. They come and they steamroll him. So he's on the ground. He's out. Ned comes over, gives him a hand. He picks him back up. He's like, "Hey, man." I guess it becomes a non-spoken thing that Coconut Head is just going to vote for Ned, right?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Like, Ned, when the huge crew comes over, Ned is just like, "No, he's going to vote for me." Like, what are you talking about? He didn't say shit.
I think that, like, because we were...
Just because you helped him up?
Well, we were like, why wouldn't Coconut Head just vote for Ned? I thought they were friends anyway. Like, shouldn't that
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Why is he the undecided one? It makes no sense. Right, and then the huge crew's like, "Oh, he's voting for you, all right," and they fucking beat the shit out of him. So, long story short, we come to the point where they are announcing the winners. So Zemo gets treasurer, obviously. Mm-hmm. She comes up,
uncontested.
Her acceptance speech is a sniffle.
Yeah.
Then Quirrell gets VP. I feel like uncontested as well because they
also uncontested.
They don't address anyone else running for VP except for him.
No, and he tries to make a speech, and they escort him off stage like a la Oscars.
I'm going to change the vice president to nice president. I got ideas. And he turns him off.
Fucking kick him out.
They're like, take your fucking Ritalin, kid.
And this is where we see that the Weasel has one president.
Yep. Coconut Head voted for the Weasel. Slippery bastard.
That motherfucker.
The Weasel was the only one that didn't physically assault him.
Which is,
fair.
I think the only factor that played into his vote.
Yeah. And so basically what happens, I think, is that Quirrell, they say he's acting on behalf of the Weasel. So effectively, Quirrell is the president.
Yes, he is.
I mean, the Weasel can't make a decision. I'm surprised that they allowed that to happen.
That you know of. Maybe they could like put him in a cage and like have two options, and whichever one he runs over to, that's the one they do.
That'd be pretty good. No one could get mad at that.
No one could dispute it, honestly, except for maybe Gordy.
Yes, and the last scene, so that's where we find out. So de facto, Martin Quirrell's like, "All right, I'm gonna take Ned's initiative to do free air lunch. I'm gonna pass that." And so the end of the episode, they're outside in the courtyard, and we find out that the printer pants overheat.
Yeah, no ventilation.
Yeah, they didn't get aired out.
So they start lighting his ass on fire.
Ass burn.
But that was pretty much the episode. It was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, it closes out on that. Gordy puts the fire out, and that's it.
I think that I would give this episode a 7 out of 10 weasels.
That's fair. And since I have to give it a higher rating than I gave the last one, I'm going to give this one a clean 8.
Nice.
I think this was a good one.
It was definitely a good episode. It was better than the first one, in my opinion.
One of the stronger episodes that we've seen so far, I might say.
Yes, definitely. But that's pretty much it. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @harbor_boys. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the iTunes feed.
iTunes is key.
Yes, very key. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
If you're YouTube people,
subscribe, hit it up,
smash the subscribe button.
Jeez. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I'm Jacob.
I'm Kirk.
And go watch some Ned Pod.
Yeah.